I've gathered the wood for my wife's Christmas Intarsia. We've got a little blue pine, we've got some poplar, there's some aspen, a little jatoba, some butternut. This is a pink dogwood. Got some padauk, a piece of pine, and a little bit of walnut. Here's a quick glimpse of the Intarsia I'll be doing for my wife Julie this year for Christmas. It's called Snow Couple. I've got the pattern already copied onto some paper. I've gone through and labeled each of the pieces 1 through 72. The yellow mark just means that I've already cut that piece out. Over here are all of my pieces that are cut out. Now what I'm going to do is get these sorted by wood types, and then we'll start getting them attached to the pieces of wood. I've got all 72 of my pieces attached to the proper species of wood. Basically what I do is I put down some Scotch packing tape, and then I use a little bit of Elmer's glue, the kind that kids use in school. It's in a stick, kind of looks like chapstick maybe. I stick the pieces of pattern to the Scotch tape, and then I put a second layer of Scotch tape over the patterns, and that allows me to get a nice smooth cut. The Scotch tape actually helps to keep the blade cool, and I'm ready to head to the scroll saw. For this project, I'll be using an Olson 2/0 blade, and the first thing I do is go ahead and put my new blade in and tension it, and then I use my machinist square to make sure that my blade is square to the table, and it is absolutely dead on. So I'm real happy about that, and I'm ready to do a few test cuts or warm-up cuts. I've taken a piece of scrap wood and I've drawn a few random patterns on it. This is how I like to warm up before I start doing my real cutting. By cutting out these random patterns, it just sort of lets me get a feel for the saw. It's been a while since I've cut, so I think it's a real good idea that I reacclimate myself with the saw and how it cuts. And this gives me a chance to do that prior to putting my good pieces on here and maybe messing something up. So I'm going to take a moment and do a few test cuts. The cutting out of the pieces is going really well. I like to cut down the left side. I cut a little past the end of the piece, and then I'll back up and make my turn to make it easier and continue cutting down the left side of the piece. You can see that right there, how I've cut right along that line. Now I've cut past this line. I'm going to back up and then come back and get this line. All of the pieces for my Intarsia this year have been cut out, and they're ready to begin shaping. What I've done is I've taken each piece, and it has a number on the front, and I've put that number on the back. And there's two reasons why I do that. The first reason is so that obviously I can find it and get it to the right location in the overall Intarsia mosaic. But the second reason is once I peel this white paper off the front, the pattern off the front, that lets me know what the back side is so that I shape the proper size side of the piece. I'm doing my first dry fit since getting everything cut out, and I'm a little troubled because I've got a couple pieces that don't fit real well right there and right there. I'll be taking care of those, but what bothers me more is I'm missing a walnut piece for his eye, one of his eyebrows, and her pupil, and I'm not sure where I put those. I did cut them out, so we're going to go back, get another piece of walnut, cut another pattern out, and get those 3 pieces cut. Then we'll get the ill-fitting pieces to fit and start shaping. I remade the 3 missing pieces, and I've got them in the Intarsia. All of the pieces that were really ill-fitting have been adjusted and now fit. It's still not a perfect fit, but as I start to shape and sand, I'll start fine-tuning all of these pieces so that they fit nicely together. You may notice that the depth of some of the pieces of wood, some are a little bit, maybe they were 1/2 inch versus 3/4 inch. For example, the band on the hat. We're not going to worry about that because as we shape the pieces, we'll either come down to those pieces or I'll use a spacer in the back to raise them up to the proper height. So none of that concerns me at this point. I just wanted to shoot a quick progress video. I've been rough shaping my Intarsia. These are the pieces obviously that I've gotten shaped so far. They need a little bit of fine tuning. I'm kind of doing that as I go. And I've got quite a few pieces back here in the back that still need to be shaped. Thought I'd show another progress video. Things are coming right along, making excellent progress on shaping or rough shaping the parts down to a few small odds and ends. We're going to get those shaped and then we'll start fine tuning. At this point, I've got the Intarsia entirely shaped and final sanded and ready for finish. I did have a couple of pieces, for example, the scarf and her lips, that I wasn't really happy with, so I just got finished cutting replacement pieces for those. I'm going to get those sanded and finished, and then we're going to move on to cutting out a background, and we're going to get this all glued up, and I've purchased some spray lacquer, and I'm going to put 3, maybe 4 coats of spray lacquer on it, and it should be ready to give. So I'll keep you posted. I've started my glue up. The most important piece is this base piece down here. This is what everything builds on. So I've got my background cut out, and I just loosely have all of my pieces laying on it to make sure that it was adjusted, it wasn't cattywampus. I have now applied the glue to this bottom piece here, and I've got a couple of clamps on it. I'm letting it dry. I'm going to give it about 20-25 minutes to dry, and then I'll be able to start installing pieces one at a time and building out the entire Intarsia, getting it glued to the background, and we'll be ready for finishing. All of the pieces to the Intarsia are glued to the backer board. I'm over at my finishing station, and I'm going to blow this Intarsia off with some air to get any dust out between the pieces, and then I'm going to use a tack cloth to tack any surface dust off of it, and then we're going to hit it with a couple of coats of lacquer. So I'll be back in a little bit to show you how it looks once finished. Well, my wife's Christmas Intarsia is finished. I shot 3 coats of Watco semi-gloss lacquer on the project, waiting 2 hours between applications, per what they recommended on the can. I think it turned out beautiful. We had our gift exchange this evening. I presented it to my wife, and she absolutely loved it, so I'm very happy about that. And this wraps up another Intarsia. So I'll see you guys next year for my next one. Well, guys, I'd like to thank you for following along on this year's Intarsia build. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making this Intarsia. This video was kind of more of an overview of the project. I didn't get into great detail. If you're interested in more detail about how I go about doing an Intarsia, I did a vlog series last year. It's a 16-part series, and I'll go ahead and include a link to that down below to the first video, and it's a playlist, so you'll be able to follow along with all 16 of the videos in the series and see exactly what it takes from start to finish to do an Intarsia. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, or ask me a question. I respond to all comments. I'll answer all questions. And if you really enjoyed the video, then do me the honor of please sharing it with your friends so that they can check in and see what I'm doing, and maybe they'll want to become a subscriber. And by the way, if you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button so that all my future videos will come straight to your video feed. And as always, I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Have a great evening. And oh yeah, guys, before I go, one last thing. I have started a Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, search for RJBWoodTurner. Give me a like, and you can kind of follow along with projects like this as I'm working on them in my shop. Have a great evening, and Merry Christmas. We'll see you soon.